kings bowed before him. Why? Because Solomon understood the one truth most men ignore. Wisdom is the root of all riches, not effort, not ambition, understanding. This speech is not about history. It is about you and the questions you've been unable to answer. Why do you still feel lost, though you work harder than ever? Why does your life lack direction, though you chase every goal? Why do you read, strive, push, yet remain without peace, without dominion? Because you have pursued what Solomon refused. You have sought results without law. You have chased success without understanding the structure that sustains it. In the next hour, I will hand you the principles that made Solomon the wisest man to ever live. You will learn how to govern your thoughts, how to build wealth without worshiping it, how to hear the voice of truth in silence, and how to become the kind of man God himself would trust with abundance. If you are ready, let us begin. Introduction: The secret wisdom of King Solomon. You are about to unlock the spiritual logic behind one of the wisest men who ever walked this earth, not because he conquered lands or built empires by blood, but because he understood law. I speak not of modern law. I speak of the law behind all things, the law that governs power, gold, peace, and purpose. The law Solomon mastered. Most men today want gold, but few are willing to become gold. They want the palace, but neglect the cornerstone. Solomon asked not for gold, but for understanding, and the heavens answered. What he received, dominion, wealth, peace, and mastery, did not arrive by chance, war, or inheritance. It arrived by divine response to definite mental desire aligned with eternal law. You chase results, you grind, you copy strategy, you worship the external. But understand this, the ancients did not build temples, kingdoms, or dynasties with noise. They built in silence. They built by law. And Solomon built what no modern strategy can buy, a name that echoes through time. The real treasure was not Solomon's gold, but the mind that magnetized it. He aligned with divine law first, and all riches followed. That same law still governs wealth today, but men no longer seek it. They seek shortcuts. And for this, they remain slaves to systems they should command. You ask for influence, for abundance, for clarity. But let me ask you this, have you asked for the wisdom to govern that which you seek, or only for the outcome? Solomon asked rightly. He knew. The man who governs his own mind soon governs all things under heaven. What I am about to reveal will not comfort you. It will confront you, but truth always does. I will show you that you have not failed because of lack of tools, support, or timing. You have failed because you have not yet understood the laws Solomon obeyed, the wisdom that turns men into kings. And so I say to you now, I seek understanding above possessions. For when you understand, you will no longer chase gold, you will command it. For wisdom is wealth in seed form. When you plant it, nurture it, obey it, harvest will come, and no man, no system, no failure can take it from you. In this speech, I will teach you how to build wealth the way Solomon did, through inner law, through quiet clarity, through alignment with principle, through obedience to order. No modern trick will substitute for what you're about to learn. What follows is not hype, but hierarchy, not theory, but throne. Let this be your declaration. I become the ruler by ruling myself. Let that identity replace all others. The world has enough followers. It has enough noise. What it lacks, what it cries for, is the return of the man of law, the return of the one who rules first within, and therefore cannot be ruled from without. This is not for the man who wants ease. This is not for the man who seeks temporary advantage. This is for the man who desires dominion, not applause. Power, not popularity. Legacy, not luxury. And that man must learn as Solomon learned. Riches are not granted. They are revealed to those who seek wisdom. You have reached a line in the sand. Cross it. From this moment forward, speak no longer of your poverty. Speak no longer of what you lack. Begin to speak of understanding. Begin to speak of inner rule. Begin to move not by emotion, but by divine direction. Let Solomon's path become yours. I will walk you through the laws that created his empire. I will break down the order that secured his reign. And if you listen, not just with your ears, but with your soul, you will become as he became, the man who receives what others chase, the one who is trusted with what others misuse. The hour is now. Begin. Part 1. True wealth begins with understanding, not money. Solomon did not begin his reign with ambition for riches. He began it with reverence, with a question asked not by the greedy, but by the wise. Grant me an understanding heart. And because his desire aligned with eternal law, riches followed without him asking. Understanding was the magnet. Wealth was the result. The modern man reverses this law. He prays for the gold, not the mind to hold it. He begs for results, not for the wisdom that commands results. And so he remains a beggar, outside the gate of his own kingdom. What you pursue reveals what you worship, and what you worship determines what you become. Men fail not for lack of opportunity, but for lack of inner clarity. They ask, how do I get more? But never ask, how do I become more? Solomon knew the latter was the path. He became the man who could handle what others ruin. And because of that, what others chased him. Do not be fooled by noise. Do not be seduced by urgency. Most riches today are gained by force and lost by foolishness. But riches gained by understanding last for generations. Solomon's legacy was not in coins, but in the structure of his thinking. And so must yours be. Let this now become your inner creed. I do not chase riches. I command them by wisdom. For what you chase, you admit you do not control. But what you command by law, by principle, by order, it comes as servant, not as master. Gold must never be the goal. It must always be the result. Andrew Carnegie, too, followed this pattern. He did not surround himself with entertainers or flatterers. He surrounded himself with thinkers, men who could reason, calculate, and see what others missed. His wealth was a byproduct of his ability to think in long-term law. That is why it endured. The world honors the man of thought, not noise. It follows the one who speaks slowly, but acts decisively. Solomon ruled without raising his voice. His greatest victories were not on battlefields, but in courtrooms, in moments of judgment where understanding became sword and shield. He won by mind. You are to stop asking, how do I earn more? And begin asking, how do I understand better? You are not here to become a worker. You are here to become a wise man. One wise decision is worth more than 1,000 days of labor. For wisdom buys what sweat alone never can. Every day you must ask yourself, do I understand the laws behind what I'm doing? Or am I blindly performing tasks others created? Most men live in cycles they never chose. They copy, they imitate, they mimic, but they never understand. And because of that, their labor produces only crumbs. Solomon was not born into wisdom. He chose it, he asked for it, he made wisdom his priority, and in return, it made him a ruler. He prayed, give thy servant an understanding heart, that I may judge rightly. And heaven answered, not because of his status, but because of his alignment with law. Let these words govern you now. I sow understanding and reap gold. Speak it aloud. Plant it in the soil of your mind. For gold is nothing more than the visible reward of invisible alignment. No man can fake this law. Either you become wise or you become weary. The choice is yours. You must now make study a ritual, not of trends, but of principles. Do not consume information, extract understanding. Do not hoard knowledge, apply judgment. Solomon studied nature, people, time, consequence. He saw through the surface of things. And for this, his words were law in his land. The fool memorizes quotes. The wise man lives the meaning behind them. The fool rushes into markets. The wise man waits, watches, judges, and moves once, with full authority. Understanding gives you leverage. One accurate move from a wise mind breaks 1,000 frantic motions from a confused one. You must now clear space for study. Build a law of reflection into your daily rhythm. As Solomon wrote Proverbs, so must you write your observations. What did you see today? What patterns repeated? What words led to gain? What actions led to loss? The man who studies his own life masters it. Solomon was a recorder, a teacher, a philosopher king. He did not simply live, he learned from living. His journals were scriptures. His laws became the structure of civilization. And this came not from privilege, but from hunger to understand. That same hunger must now enter you. Stop seeking secrets in new places. Begin building understanding from the old laws you've ignored. Honor, order, cause and effect. Stillness before decision. Purpose before motion. When you see clearly, you build permanently. That is what the wise man knows. That is what the rich man forgets. Let this final creed settle deep in your being. I do not chase riches. I command them by wisdom. I sow understanding and reap gold. Say it when you rise. Say it before you sleep. Say it until your bones believe it, and then act accordingly. Solomon became the wisest man on earth, not because he was born favored, but because he chose understanding over all else. Your wealth will follow suit. Part 2. The wise man governs his thoughts before his kingdom. Solomon declared, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." That verse is not poetry, it is law. A man's outer kingdom rises or collapses based on the state of his inner court. Thoughts are not idle, they are architects. And the man who fails to govern them will build a palace of sand. You cannot master land, wealth, relationships, or business if you cannot first master your reactions, your focus, your inner speech. The mind is either throne or battlefield. Solomon did not rise because of inheritance. He rose because he ruled within first. Peace on the outside began with order within. Men today are frantic. They want to control everything outside. People, politics, profits. But ask them, can you still your mind for 1 hour? Can you hold a vision in silence? Can you command your thoughts like soldiers? Most cannot, and that is why they fail. Power begins with thought governance. Solomon judged entire nations from the stillness of his inner wisdom. He could listen to 2 mothers argue over a child, and in a moment deliver a verdict that ended all doubt. That clarity did not come from charisma. It came from mastery of inner law. He had trained his thoughts into servants. Look at your own thoughts. Are they lifting you or draining you? Do they serve you or sabotage you? Every fear, every delay, every doubt is a reflection of an untrained mental parliament. The king must sit on the throne or the voices of chaos will reign. That king must be you. Henry Ford was not the most educated man, but he mastered focus. He trained his mind to stay on one idea until results obeyed. He made time for solitude. He walked silently with questions and returned with answers. This is what separates the leader from the laborer, a governed mind. Do not envy the man who appears successful if he is not at peace within. His gold will rot in his hand. His house will feel like a cage, because no external fortune can outshine the torment of an ungoverned inner world. Solomon's kingdom was great because his mind was first submitted to law. Write this now. I rule my thoughts, therefore I build. That is not opinion, it is principle. Every achievement you seek must first be formed in thought. Thought held in clarity, thought fueled by faith, thought refined by silence, until it becomes command, and command becomes manifestation. You must set law in your thinking. Wake up and decide, what thoughts do I allow? What doubts must be silenced? What affirmations must I repeat until they command obedience? A castle without guard falls. So does a mind without watchmen. Place guards at the gates of your attention. Let your creed be this. My outer world is the reflection of my inner law. And let your actions prove it. Begin each day in silence. Do not touch the world until you have spoken law into your thoughts. Speak your aim aloud. Replace complaint with command. Replace anxiety with order. Solomon sat on a throne, but his real power was invisible. It was in the rhythm of his heart, the structure of his values, the clarity of his attention. You must now build this same throne within. Do not wait until the world slows down. Rule now, or drift forever. Men build empires and lose them. They gain fame and fall into ruin. Why? Because they thought money could fix what only mental law could. They thought applause could substitute for inner peace. But Solomon knew all wealth built outside the boundaries of thought governance will destroy the builder. You do not need another plan. You need inner discipline. You need law of thought. You need silence before decisions. You need vision rehearsed until it becomes instinct. That is how kings move. That is how empires rise. The foundation is always unseen, but it determines everything. Write this and repeat it daily. I rule my thoughts, therefore I build. My outer world is the reflection of my inner law. Let these words become your daily anchor. Let them guide your focus, your speech, your actions. The man who does not rule within will be ruled by the world without. Solomon was not a man of haste. He was not swayed by trends. He knew that thought is seed and every spoken word is water. He planted with intention. He spoke with calculation. And his kingdom was the harvest of his inner discipline. So shall yours be. Train yourself today. Guard your inner temple. If a thought does not build you, cast it out. If a word does not align with purpose, silence it. Speak only what strengthens. Think only what commands. Hold only the vision that lifts you. All else is noise. You do not need more energy. You need more governance of the energy you already possess. Stop scattering your attention. Start aiming your focus like a sword. The man who rules 10 thoughts completely will always outbuild the man who entertains 100 without control. Final command. Begin each morning by declaring your mental law. Repeat aloud. Today I rule my thoughts. Today I hold only what builds. Today I move as Solomon, quiet, firm, aligned. Do this for 90 days. Your mind will shift. Your energy will clarify. Your kingdom will begin. Part 3. Every man must ask for wisdom, like Solomon did before he is trusted with power. The man who seeks power before wisdom is a child playing with fire. He may build for a moment, but the structure will not last. Solomon was offered the chance to ask for anything: riches, enemies defeated, long life. But he asked for discernment. He knew that only wisdom could hold what power attracts. Many today ask for wealth without understanding how to rule it. They cry out for recognition without knowing who they are. They desire influence before they've established order within. And so what they gain quickly, they lose just as fast. For the law is eternal. Power demands structure, and structure demands wisdom. You ask why success delays, why wealth evades you, why opportunity circles but does not land? The answer is not in your circumstances. It is in your preparedness. Divine law does not grant command to the man who has not first proven himself capable of sustaining it without destruction. Look closely. Solomon's request pleased God because it was aligned with spiritual law. He did not ask selfishly. He asked lawfully. He asked for what would make him capable of building without collapsing. That is why God gave him not only wisdom, but everything he could have asked for and more. You must learn to pray, speak, and move like Solomon. Stop asking for more. Ask for the mind that can hold more. Ask for the character that sustains abundance. Ask for the discernment to make the right decision when no one is watching and no one will clap. When Andrew Carnegie built his empire, he did not seek talent first. He sought men with judgment, men who would not panic under pressure, men who would choose principle over impulse. That was wisdom in action. The fortune was built because the foundation was mental clarity. You were not denied power. You were protected from it. For power without preparation is poison. It blinds, it distracts, it multiplies the flaws already inside you. But when wisdom precedes reward, power becomes an instrument of construction, not destruction. Make this your creed. I ask for wisdom to match the wealth I will hold. I prepare my mind so my fortune may stand. These are not affirmations. They are laws to live by. Speak them aloud each day until your subconscious begins to obey. Write this now in your private journal. What must I understand in order to carry the future I desire? Do not skip this. Sit with it. Listen. That question is the gate. The answer you receive in silence will be more valuable than any seminar, book, or mentor, for it will come from your inner court. Power tests you. It magnifies who you are in secret. If you cannot govern your desires in obscurity, you will be overthrown in visibility. Solomon understood this. He built first within, and God gave him dominion without. That is the eternal order. Obey it. Do not say you want millions if you cannot manage hundreds. Do not say you want to lead if you cannot lead your own schedule. Do not declare that you are ready for expansion if you still delay the basic disciplines of daily life. That is mockery to the law of wisdom. Begin each week with a review. Have I governed my time? Have I managed my mind? Have I ruled over appetite, speech, emotion? This is your throne room. Your dominion does not begin with a title. It begins with how you handle 24 hours. God gives more to him who masters little. Thomas Edison tested over 10,000 materials before discovering the filament for the light bulb. Why? Because he was obsessed with understanding, not shortcuts. He built a mind that could endure delay. That is wisdom. And that is why his invention shaped generations. You must burn every shallow prayer. You must stop asking for escape. Ask instead for insight. Ask to become the type of man Solomon became, one who rules by discernment, one who multiplies because he first submitted to law, one who waits patiently, learns deeply, moves decisively. Affirm this into your bloodstream. I will not seek shortcuts. I will seek structure. I will not ask for gold. I will ask for understanding. And by law, I will receive both. Say it until your flesh resists. Say it until your fears retreat. Say it until it becomes instinct. This part of the journey is the most painful because it exposes the truth. You are not lacking opportunity. You are lacking capacity. And that capacity must be developed through daily seeking of wisdom, through practice, through silence, through law. Make a vow today, I will spend 1 hour each week in solitude asking only one question. What must I understand to build what I desire? No devices, no noise, just silence and truth. Solomon's wisdom came in quiet. So will yours. Power without wisdom is temporary noise. Wisdom without power is hidden gold. But wisdom with power, this is dominion. And you were born not just to succeed, but to reign in thought, in speech, in behavior, in discipline, in destiny. That reign begins when you, like Solomon, ask not for riches, but for discernment. From this moment on, you will stop chasing results. You will start becoming the man who can carry them. You will no longer weep over delay. You will rejoice over preparation. And when the hour of power comes, you will be ready. Part 4. A wise man knows when to speak and when to remain silent. A single word can crown a man or destroy him. Solomon's throne did not stand upon stone or gold alone. It stood upon judgment, upon the razor's edge of language. He could end a war with one sentence, divide truth from deception with a single reply. Such is the weight of wisdom spoken at the right time. You are taught today that confidence is noise, that power is volume, that dominance is in speaking first. This is a lie. Real power is measured in restraint. The fool speaks everything he knows. The wise man holds what others beg to hear. Solomon ruled through words, not because he spoke often, but because when he spoke, law followed. Your life right now, look at it, is not shaped by what you know. It is shaped by what you say, the words you speak over your future, the tone you use in conflict, the silence you break when patience would have preserved your peace. Understand, speech is not expression. Speech is creation. Every word you say becomes law in the world you inhabit. Solomon's power did not come from an army. It came from timing, the discipline to wait until truth revealed itself, the strength to hold his tongue until speaking would bring clarity, not confusion. This, too, you must master if you would be ruler over your own domain. I will tell you what men do not realize. Most of your battles are lost because you spoke too soon. You negotiated before understanding. You confessed weakness instead of commanding direction.